Lobbyists and billionaires have taken our government hostage. They supply politicians with cash and job offers in exchange for public policy that represents their best interests. Every single issue you care about, regardless of where you fall on the political spectrum, is governed by big money's influence and politics. We can finally cut the ties between politicians and big money. House Democrats recently announced House Resolution 1, a sweeping anti-corruption bill aimed at breaking big money's stronghold on politics and expanding voting rights. And in the face of ethical and financial accusations against President Trump and widespread voter disenfranchisement that grabbed headlines in the 2018 midterm elections, it's not surprising that House Democrats have picked up this mantle. There's just one problem. Despite widespread bipartisan support, House Democrats can't pass this bill. They would need support from a Republican-controlled Senate and a signature from the White House. And thus far, Democrats have used this bill as a way to attack Republicans rather than working with them. Of course, this wouldn't be easy given the GOP's history on this issue, but there are Republican champions of reform in both houses. Regardless of this bill's prospect on the Hill, here's what makes it monumental. It's a clear sign that politicians in Washington are beginning to understand that they must return power back to the people. Here's a snapshot of what HR1 would do. End partisan gerrymandering. HR1 would make it so voters choose our politicians and not the other way around, by stopping political parties from rigging elections through partisan gerrymandering. Make it easier, not harder, to vote. The bill would improve access and ensure security in our voting system by implementing national automatic voter registration, stopping voter purging, and reaffirming Congress's commitment to restore the Voting Rights Act. End the dominance of big money in politics. That means guaranteed disclosure, empowering citizens, and stronger oversight. All political organizations would be required to disclose their donors. A 21st century campaign finance system would be built to increase the power of small donors. Ensure public officials work for the public interest. HR1 would stop conflicts of interest and improve ethics law enforcement by stopping members of Congress from serving on for-profit boards, limiting first-class travel, and ending taxpayer-funded settlements for office holders. It would also institute much stronger oversight of lobbyists and foreign agents. House Resolution 1 gives small donors more power, and it helps cut ties between big money and politicians. Voters on both sides of the aisle are disheartened by a system that's proven again and again to be rigged against them, and they aren't wrong. This bill, put forth by House Democrats, is the culmination of a dedicated grassroots movement that has taken cities and states by storm. Just this past year, the anti-corruption movement saw 23 major victories. This strategy of passing anti-corruption laws is similar to that used in the fight for marriage equality and women's suffrage. First, you make change on the state and local level, then you build momentum, and then you take it national. They should now follow in that movement's footsteps and bring conservatives and progressives together. With this bill, House Democrats are building on the momentum of an existing bipartisan movement. A 2018 Pew study found that the majority of Americans are in favor of passing stricter anti-corruption laws. As we know, corruption wears no party label. Americans of all political stripes want to end the dominance of big money in politics and end partisan gerrymandering and ensure that public officials work for the public interest. Now is the chance for our politicians to listen. Democrats and Republicans need to work together to unrig the system. As we saw during the 2018 midterm elections, this is what American voters want, and Democrats have an especially big opportunity here. The opportunity to do something that conservatives and progressives alike support. November 6, 2018 was the most successful day in U.S. history for political reform initiatives. Now is the time for Congress to act, not just talk. This is what Americans want to see. With this new anti-corruption bill, this session of Congress could be instrumental in making government work for the American people again, not just for the powerful and well-connected. If our Congress can put country over party. If you want to end the dominance of big money in politics, if you want to end partisan gerrymandering, if you want to make it easier, not harder to vote, if you want to ensure that public officials work for the public interest, contact your representative and let them know that you support this bill. This is the first piece of significant legislation to be introduced by the 116th Congress. It's a big deal.